There are two reasons that I want to abstract this and get it out of my function here. So I'm not a huge fan of having throw inside of my component functions. I don't know about you, but I'm not super excited about that. And the other reason is I just want to abstract this away because I think that we're probably going to be doing this quite a bit in our application. So I'm going to make a function called createResource, and that's going to accept a promise. And then I'm going to return a resource out of that. So the first thing that we need to do is abstract away this logic right here. So I'm going to just move it up and genericize it, make it a little bit more robust. So the first thing here is actually I'm going to ditch both of these, and instead we're going to store this in a result. So here we're taking that, and this is going to be the result of whenever somebody tries to read the value from this resource. So right from the get-go, the result is going to be the promise, but then on a successful resolved value, we're going to actually do two things. First, I'm going to set the status to pending from right at the beginning, and then when we're resolved, that status is going to be resolved. And we'll set the result to that resolved value. And we'll do something very similar for our rejected value. So the status will be set to rejected, and the result will be that rejected value. Great, and then we're going to return an object that has a read method on it, and we can say if the status is pending, then we'll throw the result. That's what we're doing right here. We're pending, we have no Pokemon yet, so we're going to throw that promise, and during the pending stage, that result is the pending promise. And then we can say if our status rejected, then we can throw the result here too, because in this case, the result is going to be that rejected value. And then finally, if the status is resolved, then we can return the result because we finally have the actual resolved data. And so then when we want to use this, we can get rid of all that nonsense. We can get a Pokemon resource from createResource. We'll say fetch Pokemon for Pikachu. And then we can say, hey, Pokemon resource, I want to call your read method. And that's going to give me back a Pokemon. So first time around, this is going to throw the result. We're still pending. Then if there's an error, we'll throw that error. Otherwise, we'll return that result. And if you just want to be totally complete, here you can add a throw a new error. This should be impossible because we never set that status to anything else. But just for fun, we'll stick it there. So let's go ahead and save that. Make sure that Pikachu does load up. And in fact, Pikachu does. So this is actually just a solid refactor. We didn't change any of the behavior. We just took some of the logic that we had before. We genericized it a little bit. And I just noticed we have one little problem right here, and that's this. So instead of fetch Pokemon right here, we're going to say promise. There we go. So we'll take whatever promise is passed to us, and we'll attach our own handlers onto that. And then we'll take the promise that is returned from that as the result. And then we'll throw that if the status is pending. If we get a rejected promise, then we'll throw that rejected result. And in the case that it resolves, then we'll return that result. And this allows us to create resources really easily. And these resources are integrated with the Suspense APIs, so we don't have to do this nonsense all over our code base. We can isolate that in one place, and the rest of our code looks almost like it's synchronous, making it really easy to do anything asynchronous in our components. And then we can declaratively manage the error and loading states using a regular error boundary and React Suspense component.